So how did Full Armor become a company? Dan Van Roekel, our CIO, came into town to visit from Little Rock, Arkansas. He works up there, and Ethan and I are here in Houston, so he came into town. He and I met up at a local restaurant to just watch a baseball game, catch up, see how things were going. He starts jotting stuff down on a napkin, and I'm kind of curiously looking over to see what he's doing. He slides the napkin across and just asks me, am I crazy? And I look at the napkin, and on the napkin are the core ideas for what Hero 3 was going to be. You know, the cloud-based filtering service, the software on the desktop, the router in the home. He'd outlined all these things and even had kind of come up with some of the pricing models and things like that. And I read through it and looked over at him and said, no, you're not crazy. Are you seriously considering doing this? And he said, yeah, I'd really like to. I think that there's a need out there. So he and I agreed on that. I mean, we both, are dads with kids, and saw that, there really isn't much out there that we can do on our own to solve some of these problems. So he and I met up with another friend, Ethan Sanders, who's now our CFO, sat down, had a conversation, just kind of outlined everything, came up with budgets and put together the pro forma, and went and figured out how much cash we were going to need to get through the phase 1 of the development cycle. And 30 days later, give or take, we had gotten our paperwork from the Secretary of State, had our business established, Full Armor Systems LLC, and the rest is history. We're 6 months in now. It's been a lot of fun. Hero 3, the name of the product, Hero itself stands for Healthy Environment Reinforced Online. And Hero itself has a bigger meaning, and it kind of lines up with the whole statement about empowering the family, right? So giving the family the ability to be the hero instead of being the victim, right? 3, it was just the name, or just the number of dads involved in the project. It was pretty creative to come up with that name. We really like it. 3, though, I think also it correlates to the product itself, because there are 3 main components that kind of make up the ecosystem of the product. So it was an interesting fit, and had the twist of having the 3 dads, 3 really awkward men trying to be heroes for their family. So we're creating Hero 3 for personal reasons. We've seen a need out there in our community with families that we know, in our own families, just different ways that the internet has had, and not necessarily a negative impact, but has made things difficult for families in certain situations. Either children being exposed to things that you really don't want them to be exposed to at a young age, or just not really being in control of what's coming in to the home, what's coming into the home via the internet, via TV sources, video games, things like that. So there wasn't necessarily a specific incident that drove it, but it was just accumulation of all the things that are happening out there right now, and the powerlessness that we felt as parents to be able to control the things, and not necessarily control, but be able to filter some of the things that our kids are seeing, especially at a young age. And even be able to help hold ourselves accountable, husbands to wives, and back and forth. So that was the main driving force behind it, was to just empower, put the power back into the hands of the family to be able to determine what they prefer and what they don't, to be able to choose what's good for them instead of being at the whim of the internet itself. So there are products on the market right now that do the things that we're talking about doing. You can go and get a router that has the ability to enable parental controls, and do some of the things that we're talking about with scheduling devices for internet shutoff, making dinner time a priority for the family, and cutting off internet access to own devices. That exists, as does some of the software. There are other products on the market that do some of the things that we do. That being said, in order to do all of the things that we're talking about doing, you'd have to engage 4 to 5 different vendors. You'd have to have a router, you'd have to have parental control software on your PCs and laptops, you'd have to have mobile device management software on your cell phones, each with their own method of management, each with their own setup and configuration. The other drawback is, in most cases, if you don't have some kind of IT skill set, if you're not tech savvy, these products aren't easy to use. You have to have some pretty high, not high level, but a good mid-level knowledge of networking and how everything works. And for your average mom and dad, I mean, they're busy being mom and dad or lawyers or CPAs or whatever it is that they're doing on their daily basis. And I know full well that I barely have time to do the things that I'm doing, much less go out and learn something completely separate from what I do on a daily basis, so that I can protect my family from something as basic as pornography on the internet. If I have to go out and learn a completely new skill just to be able to say, okay, yeah, my family's safe and secure, I don't think that's a efficient way, or it's not beneficial to the family to force them to do that. The last aspect of it is putting all those components together from all the different manufacturers out there. Number one, you still don't get the level of protection that you do with our suite of products, because some of the techniques that we're using are new and a little bit different from what is out there right now. But the other aspect of it is the cost is going to be much more than what we're talking about. The mobile device management component of the product alone, right now on the market, goes for about $2 a device. So to get that plus the internet filtering software for the home on the computers, plus the router, plus any other components of the technology, I mean, you're talking price range in the neighborhood of $3 to $4 to $5 per device, whereas we're going to be offering, in the neighborhood of $1.50. So those are the main things that set us apart. So the cost of the subscriptions, it varies. The best answer I can give, because we're proponents of empowering the consumer, right? So I want each person to have the ability to customize their plan to fit their family. Each plan can be customized to do whatever you want. So if I've only got 2 or 3 devices, a laptop, cell phone, and maybe a tablet, well, I only need to pay for a subscription for those 3 devices. If I have, say, 20 devices, well, I can up the subscription for that. There are going to be specific packages, 5, 10, and 20 devices. And a device is anything: a cell phone, a tablet, a laptop, a computer, even a PC in the office. Anything can kind of fit under that umbrella. And then on top of that, have the option of adding the router in the home. And that's just a one-time purchase upgrade, so to speak. That doesn't affect the price of the subscription. A 10-device subscription we're pricing out right now at $15 a month. And the reasoning, or the idea behind that really was just going out and looking at industry pricing on the commercial side, and taking that pricing model, scaling it down a little bit, and bringing it home to the consumer. So pricing, the way it's going to end up working out, is somewhere in the neighborhood of $1 to $2 per device per month.